You're listening to the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out Play Callers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms. Hello and welcome to the Tigers Den podcast. We are back once again. Yes, we understand. Last week we weren't able to post MLK Day. We're celebrating the life of the king himself, Martin Luther King. But now we're back this week, better than ever, although probably not after what we just saw here. We're recording this Sunday night per usual after the Chiefs just beat the Bills. But let's go ahead and get into today's show. Today, we're obviously going to be discussing that game that just happened, Tyler Bass and all of that. We're also going to be discussing who we think the MVP is in the NFL. Well, really, one guy that should be the MVP, in my opinion. We're also going to be discussing some teams to look forward to for next year's revamped college football landscape, and all of that and more today on the Tigers Den. But Reese, go ahead and get him started with the weekend rundown. You can go and discuss a little bit of past weekend as well as this weekend this week. Just talk about, some of the NFL playoffs. You know what to do. Reese, take him away.
This is the weekend rundown.
This weekend, college basketball, Saturday. A lot of upsets like usual. Pittsburgh went into Cameron Indoor and beat Duke 80-76.
Sure, they're overrated. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I'll keep saying it.
Duke is overrated.
Yeah, they're not the same Duke as every year. They're not the same.
Who isn't overrated though? Auburn's not overrated. They won 82-59.
Bro, you sound so depressed.
I'm freaking, bro. I'm done. Patrick Mahomes is the
Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift have ruined our night. If y'all can't tell, but
Yeah.
Reese, you got to power through it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Auburn looks hot right now. I think they could be a Final Four team. Honestly, we'll wait. We'll wait later for the top 10 to We'll do college basketball later.
Yeah.
And then Villanova almost snuck one against UConn. That was actually a crazy game.
Yeah.
UConn had a little bit of foul calls later in the game that they got from the officiating, but we're used to that officiating.
I think that win though tells a lot, and I didn't watch the game live, so I'm not sure about that officiating take, but I think this win really tells a lot about this UConn team. Going on the road against a tough Villanova team, obviously not the cream of the crop in college basketball right now, but I think that getting this win, especially after we see so many teams get that number one spot and then drop one to an unranked team on the road. You see this with them; they were able to escape. So I think that tells us a lot about the Huskies.
Yeah, and then Purdue went on the road, and Iowa is a pretty tough team too. Iowa's had some decent wins this year, and Purdue went on the road and blew them out basically. Yeah. But I think the biggest upset of this weekend was definitely West Virginia beating Kansas, and West Virginia. No wonder Bill Self slammed a chair in the locker room because West Virginia's 7-11 and probably the worst team in the conference right now.
Yeah, what's going on? Two teams I want to discuss real quick. Kansas and Arizona. What's
I know happening? Arizona barely escaped. Because I remember you texted us and you were like, look at the score of the Arizona game, and it was like a 30-point game. UCLA was up.
No.
But, and then Arizona ended up winning.
I mean, going through that midseason drop-off, I guess, we'll see how they bounce back.
Yeah, I know. There's still some people that think Arizona can make it pretty far to the Final Four. I don't think so, but
I mean, they got the potential, but they're just not showing it right now. That's all I gotta say.
Honestly, this year is probably going to be like a year that you'll see like an 11 seed or something make it to the Final Four, or like a 12 seed, something like that, some random seed. But also we had SEC play, and this was probably one of the weirdest games ever. Like Kentucky was up by like 30 points and almost lost. Like 96-105 was crazy.
Not even overtime. Yeah,
I know. I remember watching that game, and like the announcers thought it was over, and they were like, "I wonder if Kentucky will break the all-time SEC scoring record in conference play for like 130 points or something."
Dang!
And then like they all
Georgia
of a sudden
scored
Georgia.
61 in the second half.
Yeah,
Oh
Kentucky
my
scored
god.
51, dude. It was crazy. But
Jesus.
Georgia used a lot of 3-point shooting. It was crazy.
Yeah.
They went crazy. And then another upset, which this team will probably be in the rankings come later. Texas upset Baylor on a last second shot. That's
Yeah, I
like
watched that
the
game live. That was crazy.
Bro, real quick, I just want to go over because we've talked already a lot about Big 12 games. I just want to go over the Big 12 like standings real quick. Like the Big 12 is actually like so like right now Texas Tech's leading the Big 12 at 4-1. And
That's
also Kansas State's right behind them at 4-1.
yeah.
And then you got teams like Kansas is third along with Oklahoma, Iowa State, Houston, and Baylor. Those are three very those are actually five highly ranked teams that are not even at the top of the conference.
I mean,
And
you look at it. You look at it. You look at who's in second to last place right now is TCU. He's ranked 19th in the country.
yeah, but
So
they're
I mean,
tied with like Cincinnati, BYU, UCF.
So I mean,
Even West Virginia's in
honestly,
it.
outside of West Virginia and Oklahoma State, I mean, we could see every other team make it from the Big 12 this year, like in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, because even West Virginia might have a chance to make it if they turn it around because they're 2-3 against AP ranked teams. And we
Yeah.
know the Big 12 has a lot of AP ranked teams this season, so honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody sneaks in from the Big 12 that's not supposed to make it. But no, now going back, uh, this was almost an upset. Um, yeah, Oklahoma almost lost to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They almost lost to Cincinnati, but Cincinnati is actually a pretty good team. Like Cincinnati actually might make the tournament this season. And
I
then
mean, another example of Big 12 being wide open. I mean,
yeah,
anybody. I feel like Big 12 and SEC are very similar this year. Like any team can lose on any given night. In my
yeah, no,
opinion.
that's happened. Oh no, it's actually also the Mountain West Conference too. The Mountain West Conference has had a lot of upsets as well this season,
Yeah.
especially with like Colorado State and Utah State losing to people that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
team I also want to talk about that's fell off. Like we didn't mention this team, Marquette is kind of falling off.
Yeah. I know they almost lost to St. John's. Barely beat them by one
Yeah.
point.
And
So
then I don't know if you watched the game at I think it was at noon or like
Creighton
11.
Seton Hall.
Creighton and Seton Hall, yeah.
That game was
Final
crazy.
three overtimes went 97-94. It was
Yeah.
actually
Still,
crazy.
still didn't score more points than Georgia, Kentucky, which is insane. But you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
I did
So,
just get
but
some I did just get some news. It said the Bills fans were brawling in the stands. So, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's not much else to do outside of football in Buffalo. Now they're just a cold city that sucks to be in. So.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it for men's college basketball. Now I want to talk about women's college basketball because Taylor today got the shadow for women's college basketball.
Let's
And
go. Let's go, Taylor.
good
Okay.
environment. It was a good environment. I want to talk about the game today between Iowa and Ohio State. You
Oh,
know,
did you see the clip afterwards?
yeah.
The
Caitlin
Caitlin
Clark
Clark.
acting. Caitlin Clark was acting like a baby.
Yeah.
She's a little
Did you see
dramatic.
the actual video though? Like
Yeah, I did see it.
she definitely like flopping after the game is like kind of crazy. So,
Well,
but
Caitlin Clark, geez, 45 points is crazy. Anyway, Caitlin Clark, she like in her press conference, she said that the Ohio State purposely did that. Like they
I
set it
know
up.
that's what I saw too. So I was like,
I
I
was like,
don't know.
buddy, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ohio State did upset Iowa in overtime. That game almost had as much points as Georgia and Kentucky in men's basketball. That was 100
Yeah.
to 92. And Caitlin Clark had 45 points. So,
Yeah.
that's insane. It's actually
No,
insane.
no doubt she's a great player. It's just, that's a bad look, you running
Yeah.
into a fan and then, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
and then also in women's college basketball in the Pac-12, USC and Colorado, which was a top 6 matchup, number 6 USC versus number 3 Colorado. Colorado ended up winning that one 63-59. So at least something at Colorado's going right. Football's definitely not it there, but women's basketball might be. And
Mm-hmm.
then Stanford's coach, I know this doesn't matter. Well, I mean, Oregon State's actually decent. I thought they were
No,
terrible.
I saw it. I saw it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, no,
But
she got her 1,203 career wins for
dang.
Stanford. She just passed Coach K for most
Yeah,
wins in
for
college
any
basketball.
college coach. So
Yeah,
yeah, any college basketball coach.
that was actually really cool to
I
see
mean,
that.
yeah. How long has she been coaching? That's hell.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
It's like how do you even get to coaching 1,203 games? But I don't know. I mean,
She's gotta be a little bit older than Coach K if she has that
yeah.
much.
Shout out to her. I guess shout out to her. So.
Yeah. Well, now we're gonna get into NFL. Freaking worst subject right now, bro. I hate the NFL so much, bro.
Yeah.
But yesterday we had some games. Ravens and Texans. I honestly thought this game was gonna be good. I thought CJ Stroud was going to, pull a let him cook, but he pulled a 10 point game. He just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it in Baltimore. I've never seen it. Baltimore's defense that was really good.
Yeah,
Like
they're
that
oh
defense.
they're insane. I mean, Kyle Hamilton's a menace. Like he's a problem. He's what 6'4", 215, and he plays safety. I mean,
Yeah.
like I don't even know how you handle that. So
Yeah, but next week the NFL refs will they'll help freaking Patrick Mahomes
uh,
get
hey,
his way
we'll see.
in.
I believe in Lamar. I believe in Lamar. So
He better make the Super Bowl. And then the game that pissed me off the most was definitely the Packers and 49ers, dude. That had to have been like I feel so bad for Anders Carlson, bro.
well, I mean,
But
he missed it.
he wasn't really that good when he was here at Auburn anyway.
Well, I think it was that injury, that
Yeah.
injury. You remember late in his career where he didn't. That's where Alex McPherson came in and wowed everybody. Because he
Yeah,
got
because I
injured.
remember Anders had like a ACL tear or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's been the same since that. So
Yeah.
but sucks for him. But I mean,
Really, honestly, if you think about it, I don't think the 49ers will make the Super Bowl. I honestly think it's probably going to be
the
I think it'll be the
Lions.
the Lions, yeah, because the 49ers you can't beat like the worst seed by like 3 points. That can't
Yeah.
happen.
Well, I mean, the Packers also did just blow out the Cowboys, who were the second seed. So
The
you
Cowboys
know.
suck though. The Cowboys don't count because we knew that was going to happen.
Well, okay. All right. Sure,
And
sure, sure,
yeah,
sure.
today the Lions and Bucks played. That was actually a really good game. That was I kind of feel really happy for the Lions fans and
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Eminem.
I picked on my little bracket thing that I made. I picked the Lions to win or the Buccaneers to beat them, but
Ooh.
I feel happy for I feel good for the Lions. There's not a team that like I feel like if you are strictly rooting against the Lions, it's only because you're rooting for the team playing against them. Everybody else, I think, they're just such a good story, like second ever NFC Championship appearance. They've never made the Super Bowl. Like it's just awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see next week when the championship games happen. We'll see if the Lions can,
Yeah.
get into the Super Bowl, and it's not going to be in Detroit, so the crowd will not pay a factor for San Francisco. And then I'm not even going to talk about this game. I don't even want to. I'm not. No, that's it for weekend rundown. Like,
All right. Well, now we're gonna move into team huddle with, or excuse me, debate topic. Sorry, debate topic with your boy Taylor.
Now, this is where things could get a little bit heated. This is Taylor's debate topic.
So there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen with the number one pick. The Bears have it right now from the Panthers, but Justin Fields kind of impressed us at the end of the season. So what will happen with the number one pick? Who will go first, and what team will be selecting with that pick? The Bears or someone else? Max, give us your opinion.
Well, I mean, I think this is a very interesting topic, because the Bears actually surprised me towards the end of the year with how well, not only Justin Fields was playing, but their team as a whole. I mean, you looked at midway through the season, it looked like they were just tanking, but they actually, up until, the last 2 weeks, they technically were still in the playoff hunt. but then obviously they lost to the Packers that last week. If I'm the Bears, I'm keeping Justin Fields. I mean, it's right now it's looking like it's not okay. So first, I'll start out with what I would do, like in this situation, what they should do, but then what I think they will do. So, what I think they should do is I think they should keep Justin Fields and draft either Marvin Harrison Jr. or I think his name's like Fashanu or something like that, the O lineman out of Penn State. I think that should be one of their two because I mean, you look at it. Justin Fields, he obviously can run the ball, but you look at his games. I mean, against the Falcons and the Cardinals, and even in games against the Browns and the Lions, for the last 5 weeks of the season, I mean, he played really good, like really good. Not even as like a running quarterback, but just as a full cornerback in general. And I'm looking at it right now. It says that the Bears are linked to Cliff Kingsbury, likely talking about an OC job. So it looks like they're discussing going to a more offensive route of the team. So I think they should pick Marvin Harrison Jr. right here, or they trade the pick, trade back, and possibly get, I don't know, either two more second round picks in a first round, or possibly they could get like two lower first round picks or something like that for the first round, or they could just straight up do what the Panthers did and get a big name from another team. So,
Five foot nine guy. Get a 5'9" guy.
but but yeah, so that's what the Bears should do. Now, what I think they will do, what it's looking like, is they're going to completely clean out shop. They're going to get Caleb Williams. They're going to bring him in, see what he can do, and they're going to trade Justin Fields and hopefully get him for some either draft stock or some other team, like other veteran players that they could possibly bring over.
Who'd you say was going to get the number one pick?
Number one's Chicago. So
no, I'm saying who do you think it would be? Like,
I mean, I think it will be Caleb Williams, but I think it should be Marvin Harrison Jr. Because I think now, do I think Caleb Williams will 100% go to the Bears with the number one overall pick? I don't know. Because here's also a thing that could happen, which I've also been seeing a lot of, is the Bears trading the number one overall pick, and then some other team, like, I don't know, let's say the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Giants decide to trade up from number 6, and they go to the first overall pick. They're definitely taking Caleb Williams or Drake May or something like that. But I'm looking at NFL's mock draft right now, actually, that was posted 2 days ago, and it does have Caleb Williams going to number 1. So it looks like that's where, and I hate it for Justin Fields, but hopefully he can get traded and go to a better team that you could start for. But it looks like their GM and like their entire thing, if you've been looking at the Bears, it looks like they're trying to, they want Caleb Williams like 100%. So we'll see what happens. But my prediction is Caleb Williams going first overall to the Chicago Bears. What do you think, Reese?
Yeah, honestly, I think either the Commanders or the Patriots are going to trade with the Bears. And I think if the Patriots do it, the Patriots will get Williams. But I think if the Commanders do it, the Commanders are probably going to get May. Because honestly, there's like two different. I think the Commanders
because the Commanders like white quarterbacks better.
Okay, there it is.
That's so true.
I mean, it's facts. But here's what I'll say though, Reese, because you said the Commanders might trade up to get Drake May. What I'm looking at right now is they can get Drake May at second without having to trade up. You know what I mean?
then that's where the Patriots would probably most likely trade up. Honestly, the Patriots would probably. I'd say the Patriots trade up and get Williams because most of the mock drafts I've seen say that the Bears probably will end up replacing the Patriots pick.
Okay, so do you have the NFL mock draft like brought up for NFL?
I know I saw one a few weeks ago. I'm about to pull it up real quick.
I can read you the one I'm looking at right now. This is from 2 days ago, but this is the latest one that popped up. Pick 1 is Caleb Williams to the Bears. Pick 2 is May to the Commanders. Pick 3 is Jaden Daniels to the New England Patriots. Pick 4 is Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. Pick 5 is Roma Dunze to the Chargers. What's crazy is the first 6 picks of the draft are either QBs or wide receivers because the sixth pick is Malik Neighbors to the Giants. So, I mean, Jaden Daniels, those first three. Do you think those first three QBs are interchangeable? That's the thing, because
I mean, I think you could probably put Daniels over May.
yeah. So I don't see any reason why the Patriots or the Commanders or the Bears would trade up to get that. Honestly, I could see possibly, they might have to trade a lot for it, but the Falcons at pick 8 trying to trade up to get, not even to the number 1 spot, but to the number 3 spot to try and get one of those 3 quarterbacks. Because, I mean, who's going to be their quarterback next year? Taylor Heineke?
Or maybe Tennessee would be someone to trade up there as well to try to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, now I may not agree with the Titans organization when they say this. I think this is bad on their part, but from what I've seen from them, they like what they saw from Will Levis. They want him to be their next guy. So, Titans, I don't see doing it. Giants, I mean, Dable and their entire organization still thinks Danny Dimes is the chosen one, is their
What about
guy.
Tommy DeVito? What about Tommy Cutlets? Tommy Cutlets. Get him. Get Tommy Cutlets.
Or Tommy Cutlets, but and then the Chargers, I mean, Herbert in hypothetical situations is Tom Brady to them. So, and then the Cardinals, they got, the little midget over there, Kyler Murray running around. So, I mean, I think that the Falcons, we could see, if we're going to see a huge trade, my prediction is the Falcons go into third.
Will we see the Broncos or Raiders maybe trade up though?
I mean, how high is, I mean, the Broncos.
The Broncos are 12, the Raiders are 13.
Hey, let me cook real quick.
Bro, they got Bo Nix at 14 for the Saints.
Let's go. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Let me cook. All
right.
Okay.
So there's a team, right, that has a quarterback with very small hands.
Oh, no.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Where did they pick?
Who's going to be their quarterback? They pick at 20th because they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
My prediction is that the Steelers are going to trade T.J. Watt and their first-round pick to move all the way up to number 1 because Chicago needs an edge rusher. They have a good secondary. They have no linebackers or defensive linemen whatsoever. They get T.J. Watt and get rid of that first pick and believe in Justin Fields. And then at that 20th pick, they get Rome Odunze. If Rome Odunze is still available, I think they go with him, or I think they go with Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU.
I was about to say you're actually really cooking right there until Rome Odunze, he's projected to go 5th overall, but Thomas Jr. is projected to go 21st. And
actually, Max, he's projected to go anywhere from 5th to about 17th.
Yeah, right now Rome Odunze is projected number 5 to Chargers.
Wait, where do you see Bo Nix to the Saints? No,
NFL
you know who the Bears would get if they had that pick? Keon Coleman from Florida State.
Ooh.
They got Brock Bowers going to the Colts.
There you go. I mean, that would be crazy. I mean, that would answer the Bears' questions. It's really a matter of who do the Bears, what are teams willing to give up? I mean, the Steelers, they do need a quarterback too. I mean, the main teams that I saw this year that just didn't have a good quarterback, like on their roster, were the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Falcons. Like, they were the 2 teams that they had to switch between quarterbacks multiple times, and it just wasn't working out. Every other team I'm looking at right now, like the Colts, Anthony Richardson got hurt. Maybe the Raiders, unless they trust Aiden O'Connell, the guy that looks like, well, actually,
I wonder what are they going to do with Jimmy G, bro? Yeah.
All I'll say is this draft is one of the most exciting in recent years. Like, last year's draft was kind of, Like, no, let me not say that. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, I mean, it was pretty loaded. But this year's draft just feels so much different.
I think the reason that this year's draft is so, hyped is because it's a lot of offensive players like quarterbacks and receivers.
Yeah.
Explosive players that you see. Last year was more like offensive linemen and defensive players that kind of just play a, small role on a team. But, I mean, this year you got Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Bo Nix,
Michael
JJ
Penix
McCarthy. I mean,
Daniel Jeremiah doesn't even have Michael Penix in the first round. So
I think Bo Nix deserves to be drafted over. To be
this
honest,
guy, yeah, no, this guy Daniel Jeremiah says I'm a big fan of the Knicks game. I think his experience as a 5-year starter is positive for him as
hey
he heads
Max,
into the
all I'll
next
say is if
schedule.
Bo Nix goes to the Saints, who that say they're gonna beat them Saints?
Let's go. Yes, sir.
And then it says he would be a plug and play starter in New Orleans, and he says
Oh,
he's
I'm
not.
taking him over Derek Carr every day.
Yeah, no, it says he's
Please,
not confident. Daniel Jeremiah's not
please,
confident in Derek Carr as the answer.
All
please,
I'm gonna
please.
say is that this causes a good debate, and we could talk about this for literally forever. But
Exactly. Yeah.
we're all tired. We've been up for a long time, and we're already at 27 minutes. So let's move
Yeah.
on to the next segment, hosted by Maximum Yacht.
Who is this week's MMVP?
All right, well, let's get started with the Gyat Dang segment, MMVP. And I'm not going to lie, the reason we actually started recording late today is because we were locked in and watching the Bills and the Chiefs. We were watching Josh Allen versus that's a little Mahomie, Patty Mahomes, sounding like Kermit the Frog over there, just throwing touchdowns left, right, and center. But, Tyler Bass decided to stroll onto the field and do his best Anders Carlson impression.
He's my fantasy kicker, bro.
and miss what was a 41-yard kick.
Yes.
Usually
He didn't just miss it. He literally pressed X in Madden and forgot to press X again.
So usually a 41-yarder is, I wouldn't say, 9 times out of 10, but like 8.5 times out of 10. You're supposed to make it. You're supposed to make it. But, he had the parlay for Kansas City and decided to take the money over, literally America seeing him as a hero. But a new hero steps into phase. It's his time. The Thanos meme, I'll do it myself. Lamar Jackson, the MVP in the NFL this year, the 2-time MVP. It's all up to him. It's his decision. I don't trust Brock Purdy over there, just doing his thing, biding his time with all the Avengers he has on his offense. I don't trust him to beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry. Watching what they did against the Packers, they should have lost that game. But then, we saw what happened. Anders Carlson, Auburn alone. But, Lamar Jackson, 16 for 22, 152 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 carries, 100 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns. I mean, we've grown up watching Lamar since he was in high school. I mean, I was watching his high school highlights the other day. It's absolute, just insane. A man amongst boys. Him at Louisville, winning the Heisman. I mean, he's achieved basically everything that a quarterback can achieve from high school to the NFL, except for one thing: the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. And not only that, with a win next week, he will be the most loved player in the NFL for years to come. Not because he beat the Chiefs, not because he finally prevented Patrick Kermit Mahomes from making the Super Bowl, but because he defeated Taylor Swift. Because he defeated, the most powerful force in the NFL this year. So, please, Lamar Jackson, come on. Please, I'm counting on you for next week to get it all together. Everybody's doubted you, saying, 1-3 in the playoffs coming into this year. He can't make it past the conference championship. All that's done. Okay?
I can't believe you made it this far.
You got the Avengers on your defense. Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, all those guys, Matabike. I mean, the defense will be fine. Okay? Just find Zay Flowers and use your legs to just scurry on past LeJarnius Sneed or whatever his name is and get into the end zone and beat the freaking Chiefs. Let's go, Lamar. He's the MVP. He's the MVP. What do y'all guys think? Hello?
Boy.
Reese, what do you think? Is Lamar Jackson the MVP?
Definitely.
And do you think he'll beat the Chiefs next week?
Yes, he definitely will beat the Chiefs next week. I hope he beats the Chiefs next week.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Taylor, you got anything to say? All right. Well, that's going to do it for MMVP. Now we're going to move on to the next section, which is bound to take a good bit of time, but, it's always fun. Top 10. Reese, go and take it away.
Let me just do something real quick.
All right. I'll let you cook.
God! It's the Lamar Jackson edit for next week. Oh, my God. It's Tony Romo.
What's going on?
Sorry, it's just
Hello?
What?
Was I asked anything?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Do you think Lamar Jackson is the MVP in the NFL?
I mean, I don't think there's any debate about it.
Okay.
After
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's trash performances the past 3 weeks, and then Christian McCaffrey,
He's basically
playing good but not great.
That's what I like to hear. And I was just saying for MMVP that, he's the chosen one. He's got to go up against, Taylor Swift and the boys, and he's got to finish it.
And Ravens are 3.5-point favorites, so
Yeah, I got no faith in Brock Purdy, and as good as they've been this year, I have more faith in Lamar. If the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, I hate to say it, but I think they're winning. But Lamar has something else to say. But now we're going to move into top 10. Reese, go and take it away.
Who's first, who's last, and who's in between? This is Top 10.
All right, today we're going to be doing basketball top 10 like we did 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure.
Let's go.
So I'm going to start with my top 10. And at 10, I got Oklahoma. They barely beat Cincinnati, but, really this year, the top 10's really confusing, honestly. Like, if I was an AP sports writer, it would be really hard to put people in the top 10, especially, with all the losses people have suffered this year, especially upsets. We've had a lot of upsets this year. More than any year, honestly, I think. Maybe more than the 2018, 2017, or 2017, 2018 March Madness year when Loyola Chicago made it to the Natty. They made it to the Final Four. That's my number 10. But at number 9, I got Utah State. They're 17-2. And they have played some Power 5 schools that are actually pretty good. And they're actually I would consider it a tough conference. The Mountain West is a pretty tough conference because you have teams like San Diego State, Colorado State, Boise State's in there as well. And you also have some of the weaker teams in there as well that are pretty decent, like Fresno State, who they just beat by 15 today. Fresno State's like 12-9, which they've played some pretty good competition. And that I got Utah State at 9. At my 8, I have Wisconsin. Wisconsin's been playing pretty well this season, and there's a chance they could make a run in the Big Ten tournament. And then at 7, I had this team at 3 2 weeks ago, but Kansas has got to go back after that loss, buddy. They don't deserve to be in the top 4 anymore. Like can't keep them in there. But Kansas will bounce back. They will bounce back. Trust me. My number 6 is Kentucky. Kentucky, barely beat Georgia. I think they were my number 6 like 2 weeks ago. But they should have beat Georgia by like 50, but they ended up beating them only by 9. So Kentucky's got a little bit of work to do, but they're my 6. My 5 is Tennessee. Tennessee, like I said 2 weeks ago, they could possibly win the SEC. And I think Tennessee's a very talented team. There's a chance they could be number 1 sometime this season if they keep it up. And then, this is a team that kind of got snubbed from the top 10 by the AP sports writers because, nobody likes them Auburn Tigers, but them Auburn Tigers are 4, in my opinion. They have one of the best net rankings in the country right now. And then they also have quality wins. And I know the App State, that's why the AP poll doesn't put them in the top 10, is the App State loss. That doesn't matter. I don't care what the AP poll thinks. They just hate Bruce Pearl. They're mad that Bruce Pearl's better than probably half the freaking top 25. And Auburn should have been 4 or 5 at least last week, but they only moved us up 3 spots because they're a little acoustic. So Auburn's at 4. Suck it, AP sports writers. You guys suck. My 3, hate to say this name. North Carolina is my 3. They deserve it. I'm not gonna lie. My other favorite team, Duke, is terrible this year. We suck. So North Carolina, do it for the state. Go make the Final Four. I think you guys are a possible Final Four team. And then my number 2 and 1 are similar from the previous or from 2 weeks ago. It's UConn and Purdue. These guys might not move for a while because UConn's been racking up them wins, and so is Purdue. So that's why I think those 2 teams deserve to be up there, and that is my top 10.
All right. Well, I'll get into mine. I'll start at number 10.
Yeah.
Number 10, I got Illinois. Illinois, they've kind of been back and forth this year.
Yeah.
But, they got Terrence Shannon Jr. Coming back is a big piece after, he had a bit of a scare, and I didn't want to say his name at all if what he did was true, but it turned out it wasn't true. I'm not going to say what he was accused of, but he's back for the Illini, and they looked very strong against Rutgers. They won. Now I know it's Rutgers.
Did he pull a Josh
What?
Giddey? Did he pull a Josh Giddey?
Worse than that, according to the allegations. But yeah, similar light. But they beat Rutgers. I know it's Rutgers, but they beat them at home 86-63, just after beating Michigan at Michigan, which is a tough place to play. Beat them by 15. So I think Illinois is a team that could go very far. And I mean, you look at their losses. I mean, they've lost to their one bad loss is to Maryland, but they lost to Purdue. They almost beat Purdue. They lost to them by 5 at Purdue, and then they almost beat Tennessee at Tennessee. They lost to them by 7. So give me Illinois at 10.
That's not
Number
bad.
9, I got.
I
got Auburn.
Okay.
Number 9, I got Auburn. I know you put them as high as 4. That's because you're biased, and it's okay.
No. The reason I put him at 4 is because I
no. It's okay. It's okay. But also, I'm an Auburn fan as well. Obviously, I mean, we all have a little bit of Auburn blood in us. But I don't want to get too high on the Tigers because let's just say we did that 2 years ago, going to the NCAA tournament, and we saw what happened. So
yeah,
I don't want to, get ranked.
I'm afraid about the Alabama.
Exactly. I don't want to get ranked number 1 only to lose at Arkansas literally the day after. So I'm going to put them at 9 right now, high upside, obviously, but we'll see what happens. Next, I got Arizona. I know I've been talking a lot of ish about them, saying, oh, they fell off and all that. They have because, the last time we did this, I'm pretty sure we had Arizona at number 1. Because you put them
at 8.
I'm putting them at 8. Yes, Arizona at 8.
I mean, they really haven't lost anything. So yeah.
I mean, last 2 games they beaten UCLA and USC. USC they blew out, but that loss to Washington State. There's just some losses where it's just like what happened. Especially the last 2 losses, Washington State and Stanford. Stanford they got beat by 18 points.
Well, remember like non-conference play, they played like UConn or something and got blown out by like 20.
Well, no, they played Purdue and lost by 8. They played Duke and beat them by 5. They played Wisconsin, beat them by 25. So,
dang.
I mean, Arizona, they're a strong team.
I mean, they do have some quality wins against some teams.
Exactly. So, I mean, it really just depends on how Caleb Love plays because that's their guy.
Yeah, I remember
Love,
when Buddy flexed when he scored like 10 points against Duke.
Exactly. He's gonna shoot. I'm not the biggest Caleb Love fan. I'm not admitting to be, but shooter's gonna shoot, and if he's shooting well, they're gonna win. That's all I'll say. Number 7, I got Kansas. the tough loss to West Virginia. I don't know how. Bill Self, I would have thrown the chair at a player instead of a wall.
Bro.
I don't get how you lose to a 7-11 West Virginia team that I haven't heard of since I don't even know. They haven't been relevant in a while. But you lose to West Virginia, but it's okay, because you have a chance to bounce back tomorrow, or technically tonight when y'all are listening to this, against a quality Cincinnati team at the field house at home. And then you get prepared for a big, big, big road test against the Iowa State Cyclones, who, by the way, just beat TCU, who was on a hot streak. So, I mean, Kansas, if they're going to bounce back, this is the week to do it. Number 6, I got Kentucky. Kentucky had a little bit of a scare late against Georgia, but they were able to pull out the win. And I'll tell you what, man, if they're nothing else, they are the most explosive offense at times in the country right now. I mean, they can Rob Dillingham and Antonio Reeves. You got DJ Wagner. Who doesn't even DJ Wagner sometimes won't even start. He'll come out the bench and he'll put up 20. Reed Shepard is the really good sniper from 3, shooting 55% from 3 right now as a shooting guard.
Sniper.
But yeah, this Kentucky team, they can heat up. They can heat up fast. I mean, that wasn't their first 100-point game of the year. They've done that twice before. They scored 118 against Marshall. So, which I know it's Marshall, but 118, that's crazy.
Pretty good,
that's NBA numbers.
I can't wait to see Auburn and Kentucky play next month. That's gonna be a fun matchup.
That's going to be insane. Ticket prices are going to be $2K to get in.
200? No, it's actually going to be 200 mil to get in.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to be Jeff
can't
Bezos.
Go anyway.
You're going to have to be Jeff Bezos to get standing only seats.
We have a show choir comp.
I know, boy.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not going to speak on that. But right ahead of them is Tennessee. The other team in the SEC. Tennessee, Kentucky, and Auburn are easily, by far and away, the top teams in the SEC. It's them, and then, way down there is Ole Miss, who just got bullied by Auburn this weekend. So, but give me Tennessee at 5. I mean, I honestly think it was a huge win that not a lot of people even saw, because a lot of people were getting ready for, the Auburn-Ole Miss game and the Georgia-Kentucky game. But Tennessee beat an Alabama team who, by the way, was 4-0 in SEC play before coming into that game, and they beat them by 20 points. So this Tennessee team is a tough matchup for anybody to play. But, that Mississippi State loss, once again, these just small losses. I mean, I just don't understand how you lose to Mississippi State, Mississippi State, who hasn't won another SEC game besides Vanderbilt. But you look at their other 3 losses, North Carolina, Purdue, and Kansas, all top 10 teams. This Tennessee team's good. There'll be a tough test when Auburn has to go there immediately after playing Kentucky at home. But,
I say we lose that game, honestly. Like, that's one of the SEC games we'll lose.
Yeah, no matter what, it'll be a huge game, no matter what. Number 4, I got Houston. Houston, they had those 2 straight losses to Iowa State and TCU, who, by the way, are really good teams. I watched them play each other, Iowa State and TCU, and it was a really good game. Iowa State coming out with the win on the road. But, they bounced back in a big way, beat Texas Tech, who was the top team in the Big 12. I mean, they are technically still right now, but they beat them by 23. Texas Tech, who, like you said, is 5-1 in the Big 12. Well, that one loss is to Houston. And then they also beat UCF, who had beaten a couple of good teams recently. Kansas, one of them.
Texas Tech will definitely move up in the rankings because they've beaten a lot of top 25 teams.
I mean, we'll see. But give me Houston at 4. Number 3, I got North Carolina, UNC. They look. If I had to say one team that I actually have the most confidence in winning a game right now, it's North Carolina. They've won, 8 straight games. Starting off at that big win against Oklahoma by 12 points, and they haven't looked back since. I mean, this North Carolina team, the biggest thing I can say about them that I usually can't say is that they're old. They're experienced. Armando Bacot, he's been in college, since I was in elementary school. So, but this Tar Heels team, they can go a long way, and they have a bunch of old guys, which really helps them. Number 2, I got Purdue. The Boilermakers, you know, we knew this coming into the season they would be good. It's not crazy to me that they're 17-2 and ranked number 2 in the AP poll. And Taylor just left, so we'll
That's
see what.
because his connection, probably.
Yeah, possibly, but I'll resend him the link here in a second. But yeah, this Purdue team, very good. Zach Edey, the big Canadian giant. I mean, he's probably going to win the Wooden Award again. Averaging a double double. So give me Purdue at number 2, and then number 1, I got UConn. UConn had a scare this weekend. I almost dropped out of my number 1 spot, but they were able to pull it away, and I think that speaks a lot about the Huskies' character. Getting a win on the road against a decent Villanova team who's been able to knock off some quality teams. Yeah, so I think UConn is a team. They've won 7 in a row. I think they're a team that's we could see as the number 1 overall seed and the favorite to win in March. But that's going to be my top 10. Now, Taylor, who do you have in your top 10 for college basketball?
LeBron.
Number 10, I'm going to have to agree with Reese on Wisconsin. Wisconsin, one of those teams that isn't going to put up a lot of points on the scoreboard, but they play such aggressive perimeter defense. You see low-scoring games week in and week out for them. I mean, Jacksonville State 75-60, SMU 69-61. But I'm waiting for that one quality win for them because the ranked opponents that they've played, Arizona and Tennessee, they lost by a lot to both of those teams. So I'm waiting to see what they can do against Purdue on February 4th, and I think that will solidify them as a top 10 team. Number 9, I'm going to have to go with Illinois, agree with Max. I like this Illinois team, coming off of this past week when, excuse me, sorry, I had to cough. Cut that out. When they came off that win against Rutgers, I mean, kind of a decent team. But they had that tough loss against Maryland, and they barely lost to Purdue. That kind of hurt their pride a little bit. I can't lie, but I think they're still a really good team. I think that they got a lot to prove with their coming up schedule. So I got them at number 9, and then number 8, I'm gonna have to go Houston. Houston, one of those teams that, I mean, it's kind of a debate. You can rate them as high as number 3 if you wanted to. You could rate them as low as, I mean, number 11 out of the top 10. After those 2 losses to Iowa State and TCU, which were both 2 rough, road games, tough environments. But I think this Houston team is still very good, and they'll have to prove it against BYU and then Kansas coming up. That Big 12 that Reese was talking about earlier is super hard schedule and everything, super hard conference to go through. So I think if they can start winning some games, I think they can shoot up those rankings. And then number 7, I got Kansas. Kansas coming off that tough loss to West Virginia that we've been talking about. But they've beaten good teams in UConn, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Tennessee. So I think this Kansas team is still a top 10 team. They just had that tough loss, but I think they'll bounce back. Hunter Dickinson will win the Player of the Year, so give me them. And then number 6, I'm going to have to go with the Auburn Tigers. I mean, really, my 4, 5, and 6 are interchangeable however you look at it. But Auburn coming off that huge win against Ole Miss, absolutely bullied them 82-59. Janai Broom leading the team with 15.3 points per game. Really, like I said, with my 4, 5, and 6 is interchangeable. And with my number 5 spot, I'm going to have to go with Tennessee. I do give Kentucky the edge over Tennessee just because Kentucky has proved that they can put up scores in bunches. And Tennessee, in the middle of the season, had those 3 straight losses to Purdue, Kansas, and North Carolina, 3 of the hardest games they'll have this season. And I'm waiting for Tennessee to prove that they can be a quality team, and they have that coming up against Kentucky on February 3rd. And then at my number 5 spot, I have Kentucky. My 4 spot, I have Kentucky. Kentucky's just a great team all around, super high scoring. Who was that guy that they put in at the last second that is Russian or something?
Wait, for which team?
Kentucky.
Oh, Ivisic or whatever his name was.
I
Yeah,
think
that guy. I like
Jokic.
him. He's not from here. I don't know where he's from, but I think that's what kind of gives me the edge for the Wildcats. But I do want to highlight real quick for Georgia that guy that had 34 points, Jabri Abdur-Rahim, the son of NBA legend Sharif Abdur-Rahim that used to play for the Vancouver Grizzlies. I mean, he balled out against Kentucky, and he's proving why. Maybe he should have had a few more Division I offers coming out of college instead of going to Georgia, which is kind of poverty at basketball. But
Yeah.
my number
No, no,
three
no. Not this year, buddy.
my number three spot before I was interrupted is going to be North Carolina. North Carolina, one of those teams. I think they're good. I'm always going to be biased towards North Carolina just because, I always cheered for them over Duke. Sorry, Reese. But North
It's
Carolina,
fine.
the good teams that they've played, they haven't shown up. They showed up against Tennessee, but then lost to Villanova, lost to Kentucky, and they haven't beaten a ranked team since Clemson, which Clemson had the fall off of the century. So I'm just waiting for North Carolina to prove that they can guide the ACC. They have 3 games all on ESPN in a row, so be sure to watch those on ESPN. Not sponsored, by the way. And then my number two and number one. Number two is going to go to Purdue and Zach Edey, and then number one is going to go to UConn. I think UConn, like Reese said, just kind of has the edge over Purdue, even though UConn hasn't played as hard of opponents as Purdue has, and lost to Seton Hall a few games ago. But I don't even know why UConn has the edge. I'm just gonna give it to them because the AP poll said so.
Look
They
at
have
little
more
homie
depth.
there.
Purdue kind of just feeds it into Zach Edey, but this UConn team can shoot threes and they can get out on the perimeter really fast and get off the hot starts. So give me the UConn Huskies at 1 over the Purdue Boilermakers at number 2.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for top 10. Now, Taylor, go ahead and hit us with your hottest take of the week.
The temperature is rising. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Taylor's hottest take.
Hottest take.
Let's go.
So when you think of, hostile basketball home environments, where do most experts go? Plenty of them say, the Blue Bloods, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, Rupp Arena, Cameron Indoor, and Allen Fieldhouse, 3 of the top arenas, or some of the top ranked teams that we just ranked in Purdue and Arizona. Granted, these arenas, high capacities, they can get really, really loud. Fans pack them out during home games for these teams, but out of those, I would argue that Duke definitely with Cameron Indoor, the small capacity, the history behind it, and everything is one of the top in college basketball, but not the top because there's a team that is 10-0 at home this season in an arena that once hosted the longest home winning streak until late in the season last year. And this arena is the Neville Arena here in Auburn, Alabama. Most experts call this arena a hidden gem because, Auburn climbing up in the ranks of college basketball with Bruce Pearl as the coach haven't, gotten to that next level of winning a championship. But this past weekend, I went to 2 basketball games 2 days in a row for men's and women's, and the environments were absolutely insane. You see it every single game. Sold out crowds fill up the small arena, and the echoes of voices and the bass boosted music and the Auburn chants shake the floor. You can just feel it when you go to this arena. And with the records being broken here and the way the students troll the players in the jungle, it's absolutely unbeatable. Recently, Alan Flanagan came back to Neville and got booed every single time he touched the ball. They didn't even stop during garbage time when we were up by 30. They kept messing with them, and this environment just leads to wins after wins for the Tigers. And then when a player fouls out, and you do the step, sit down, you suck. I mean, there's nothing like that. No other student section does that. Neville Arena is the hottest arena in college basketball and is the best home court advantage of this decade, not just in the SEC, but the country. What are y'all's opinions on this hot take?
I mean, as an Auburn fan myself who's been to Neville Arena a time or two, I mean, yes, I 100% agree. I mean, Auburn basketball, you see it every time that they commentate, Auburn, the commentators who are there, it's usually Jay Williams and some other guy, but they're always like, this place is probably the best atmosphere that I've ever been to when they're there. Now, whenever they, get away from that atmosphere, they start getting back to the calling cards. So, Cameron Indoor, Allen Fieldhouse, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But when you're in there, you won't know it till you're in there. That's what I'll say. For those who have not, most of our listeners do reside in Auburn. For those who have not somehow been to either Auburn men's or even Auburn women's, the women's game against LSU was electric. If y'all have not been to a game inside of Neville Arena, you need to go. If you're a sports fan of any kind, this should be on your bucket list, is go to Neville Arena. I've experienced it. We've all experienced it on here. And yeah, it's definitely one of the best atmospheres and one of the biggest, like you said, home court advantages, and not just basketball, but in all of college sports and all of sports, really. I mean, it is insane how much energy the fans, but they feed off the team. That's what's so great about it. If Auburn's doing bad, then the fans, they start to get out of it, but not completely. There's still the student section down there, which, my goodness, I mean, they must have the lung capacity of a dang, blue whale, at that point, because they will just keep yelling every time the team gets the ball nonstop until the final buzzer. But yeah, I agree with this take. I don't think it's super hot because, I mean, I think you'd be a fool to say that Neville Arena isn't one of the best experiences in all of, sports. But yeah, so I 100% agree. Reese, what do you think?
Honestly, like, I agree as well. I don't go to a lot of men's basketball games. Y'all know I go to the women's basketball games. Me and my parents have been season ticket holders for 7 years now, and it's really important to me to see that these female athletes are getting recognized by the Auburn student body. Today I actually looked after the game, and today we had another good crowd at the women's game. We had 6,075 people show up. That is a
Yeah,
thousand less.
third largest of all time.
Yeah, that was third largest of all time. It was a great atmosphere. The women did win, and for anybody that listens to this, come out to the Auburn women's game. It's one of the best experiences you'll ever have.
And I want to butt in on that too. I was, shadowing the radio announcer today, and Larry, the color commentator, last week against LSU, huge crowd, one of like the most ever in that arena for women's basketball. But half of those fans were LSU fans. Today,
Yeah,
it was all Auburn fans. It was all Auburn, all orange. Jersey retirement of an absolute legend. I can't remember her name right now because my brain is literally just in a different place. But it was a huge turnout. It was a great environment, and like Reese said, just we play South Carolina coming up, the 1st of February. Just go and support. I was talking to Mr. Bowen, and he just said these girls feed off of the energy that the crowd gives them, and it's really special, like Reese said, to see them start coming out to those games.
yeah. Like even today, the last game against LSU, um, you know, that was that was majority people there to see Angel Reese, and our girls were able to flip the script and show them what we're really made of. I know we lost to Vanderbilt on Thursday, but we bounced back again today, and we had another good crowd. Today the jungle was into it, and the girls got down at one point, and the jungle was just able to get them back in the game, and we were able to win. And then we got Georgia coming up on Monday. I heard a lot of people after the game talking about they were going to come back. It's like me and Taylor said, it's a wonderful experience. The women's games aren't as packed, but I'm sure for the South Carolina game after these wins, I'm sure we might have a sold out crowd. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, South Carolina. I'm seeing it, looking at it right now. Yeah, February 1st, 7 o'clock. That might be one I need to pull up to. I mean, I've been meaning to try to go to the last two, but haven't been able to, because of other things. But yeah, that Auburn. I personally, this obviously doesn't happen to do in Neville Arena, but I just want to speak on it just really quick. I've been a season ticket holder. My family has for softball for the last, I don't know exactly how many years. I think it's somewhere around 7, 6, something like that. But because we've been, close with the Auburn softball players, like they've come up and helped my mom teach and stuff like that. But point being, the Auburn energy, like you, once again, you have to experience it before you can even talk about it. And we've all experienced it. The softball games, I'm super excited for this season. We're season ticket holders again. They got Virginia Tech coming up, I think is their first game, February 6th. So right after school on Friday, I'm going to try and pull up. But yeah, so I mean, it's really just the Auburn fans, the Auburn faithful, because this is a college town. At the end of the day, this is a college town, but it's great because it makes it great for the players when the fans are able to get into it and support their favorite, either their favorite player on the team, whether they usually have a friend on the team, in terms of the students, or they have a child on the team in terms of the parents, or it'll be people like us who are just big fans of the team and want them to win. And so we go out and support. So, yeah, like y'all said, and y'all hear on our Play Callers podcast tomorrow, where we talk to the head coach of the soccer teams for the high school, men's and women's soccer. Last year, I remember commentating for the women's soccer team that went to state, and, there wasn't that huge of a crowd, for a lot of the women's games. It's women's high school soccer. But he was talking about, like these smaller sports, or sports that aren't seen as big as others, it really comes down to the student faithful and the student body really just showing out. And he believes that they'll do it this year. So, sorry that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, great hot take, Taylor. Thank you for that. So, is there anything else you want to say about that?
Nope, that's going to do it for Taylor's hottest take. A little bit of bias, but I had a great weekend supporting both of the basketball teams, both of them super fun to watch, super talented athletes that just deserve all of our attention, super humble as well, sitting at the booth. I got to talk to Honesty Scott Grayson before she was interviewed on the radio, and she just seemed super humble, super down to earth, even though she knows that she's a baller. But congratulations to the women's today. Congratulations to the men yesterday. And we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment, Prize Picks.
Not sponsored by the app Prize Picks, it's time for Max's Prize Picks.
Yeah, so we're going to move to Prize Picks, and we're going to go old school today. We don't have any special guests on. We're going to pick it ourselves, probably be a shorter segment than usual. Let me go ahead and get y'all started with the special guest picker standings. And let me tell y'all, for anyone that says, oh, the picking's easy, they had an off week, 1-5, that's terrible. We haven't had a guest picker go better than 2-4 yet, so
wow, that's actually insane.
Yeah, nothing against Grayson or Aiden or Connor. We love them all, but Grayson went 2-4 the last time we recorded. Aiden went 2-4 as the first special guest picker, and Connor went 1-4-1. Obviously, that soccer game. So, meanwhile, we all went above 500. Reese, you went 3-3.
Not bad.
Me and Taylor went 4-2. So that keeps Taylor in the lead, 60-47-1.
Risa, what happened?
And then number 2 is me. I'm 59-48-1, so one game behind Taylor. And then Reese is one game behind me at 58-49-1. So I mean, pretty tight race,
bro.
Yeah, so pretty tight race. Anybody could win it. But we're going to go and get started. We got 2 college basketball rivalries on today's slate. And then we also got 2 really good NBA games that should be great later in the week. And then, obviously, the 2 championship NFL games next week. So let's go and get started with the Red River Showdown taking place on Tuesday between Texas and Oklahoma in college basketball. Texas coming off that big win against Baylor at the buzzer at home. Huge win for the Longhorns. They're going on the road to face number 15 Oklahoma. Texas comes into this game at 13-5, 2-3 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma's 15-3 and 3-2 in Big 12 play. Oklahoma is currently a 71.2% chance favorite to win this according to ESPN Analytics. I watched that Texas game against Baylor, and I'm not gonna lie, Max Amos and Tyrese Hunter, they're a problem. On offense, those two guys, they were clicking. I think they were combined 8 for 10 from 3 in the first half. I mean, I watched that entire game. It was an 11 a.m. tip. I watched that entire game basically all the way through, And so this Longhorns team, yeah, they got some scores. They got guys inside who can rebound. But Oklahoma is good, and I had them in my top 10. All I'll say is last time we recorded, we had Oklahoma and TCU on the slate, and I went with TCU to get the upset over Oklahoma, and I was right, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go against the Sooners again. Give me the Longhorns on the road to beat Oklahoma, and I'm gonna say the final score is I'll go 74-71. Give me the Longhorns. Let's go, baby. Hook 'em.
I think I'm gonna go with Oklahoma here because, like I said, when you picked TCU, I said Oklahoma was one of the best 3-point shooting teams, in the nation, and they are. And I think they'll show that against Texas at Oklahoma. And I think I do think Oklahoma will win, and I think it's gonna be 80-71.
Dang, high scoring. Okay.
I like both of these teams, but Texas almost feels like it's a one-man show. But Oklahoma, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 players that play above 15 minutes, and then 3 players that come in, when they're either up by a lot or kind of role players. But this Oklahoma team just has so much depth, and if Texas gets into foul trouble at all, which we have seen in their losses to UCF and West Virginia, I mean, they just are in absolute trouble. If Abmas, Dessou, or Hunter, get into foul trouble, it's over. It's over for them. So give me the Oklahoma Sooners at home on Tuesday night, getting the big win over Texas, and Oklahoma moves to 4-2 in conference play.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna go to a game on Wednesday, and this is a rivalry that means a lot to each one of us here on the set. Auburn, Alabama, the Iron Bowl on the court.
I'm gonna have to be totally unbiased here.
Yeah, so try and keep the bias out of it. I mean, we've discussed it. This is a game. Auburn usually doesn't do great coming off of because I'm sure they're gonna have to at least get ranked in the top 10.
They're gonna need Tommy DeVito at this.
But they do have sometimes trouble playing in the Coleman Coliseum. I've seen it a couple of times where Auburn goes on the road on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whatever, to face the Tide, and they end up losing. But Auburn comes into this game, number 13, 16-2, 5-0 in conference play. Alabama, who just lost to Tennessee, 12-6 overall and 4-1 in conference play. 6:30 p.m. tip on ESPN on Wednesday night. And I mean, you talk about Alabama having a good chance to win this game. ESPN agrees. 63.4% chance favorites as an unranked team who just lost a game going up against a team that will most likely be ranked in the top 10 come tomorrow. 63.4. So I mean, there's a lot on the line in this game. Bragging rights, obviously. It's the Iron Bowl.
So if we lose them, I had to blow off some steam on 2K, bro.
But the Auburn Tigers, they're different this year. I can't really explain it because, a lot of the teams I root for, I'm not going to lie, they've all disappointed me in not just recently this season, but, the last couple of years, But Auburn basketball has been the one thing that's really kept me excited. I'm an Auburn football fan. We know how that's going. I'm a New Orleans Saints football fan. We know how that's going. And I'm a Pelicans basketball fan, which, kind of a little bit more on the up this year, but still we know how that's going. The Auburn Tigers,
And bro is a Predators fan.
and Predators NHL. For those that watch NHL, we know how that's going too right now. Losing streak, all
I don't
that.
watch hockey. All they do is
But
freaking grab each other.
but anyways, give me the Tigers. Janai Broome is going to have a great game, and for an Alabama team who their top scorer is, I think he's like 5'11", Mark Sears, whatever his name is. He's 6'1", he's scoring 20 a game, congrats to him. But I'm looking for Broome to, pack the snot out of him every time. I don't see him getting past him. So give me the Tigers going on the road. Don't give a piss about nothing but Tigers.
Bro,
beating the Alabama Crimson Tide on the road. Give me them to win this game 78-63. Blowout. Let's go, baby. War Eagle.
All right. I can't be biased here, but what Max said at the end there, that was completely wrong. Don't give a piss about nothing but the Tigers. Actually, don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Okay, Max?
Yeah, I know. I was doing a thing.
The Auburn women actually said that today after they won, so, felt pretty good. But anyway, I'm sorry. I want to pick Auburn, but I think I'm gonna have to go Alabama here, bro. Like,
wow.
I think I'm gonna have to.
Brother
it's just
is a
like
fake fan.
What?
Brother is a fake fan.
No, it's just like it's just I just have a feeling.
Unbiased doesn't mean you pick against your team.
I have a feeling. No. It's not that I'm trying to be like.
Bro, be
I'm
like
not trying-
Desmond Howard and pick Michigan. Like,
Bro, no. I just think that it's gonna happen. Like I just have a feeling. It's like a
we
very
said that about the
strong feeling.
Arkansas game, and then we won by freaking 32.
Bro cares about. Hey, we'll let Reese do what he does. He cares more about the picks than he does his pick record than he does happiness. It's fine. So
What boy?
So you got the Tide.
All right. So I'm gonna go Alabama here. I'm gonna go a close one. I'm gonna go like Alabama 82-79.
All right.
So, Max, talking about Janai Broome, but I want to talk about Jalen Williams. The past few games, 13 against Ole Miss, 21 against Vanderbilt, 22 against Texas A&M. He's just been all over the court, almost getting a double-double in the past 5 games. I think Auburn, it's a lot like the Texas-Oklahoma game. Alabama, a lot like Texas, has about 1 or 2 weapons, but if they get into foul trouble, I mean, who's going to step up? But for Auburn, I mean, absolute depth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people play above 15 minutes. And then you got Leor Berman coming in off the bench. I mean, this team is just so
Go look at
deep.
the Auburn men's basketball Instagram.
And you can literally just point at anyone on this team and they'll make an immediate difference. So, I mean, just give me the Tigers winning about 90-65.
Bro, Taylor, why did you post Tyler Bass?
But anyways, now we're gonna move to the NBA. Another game that's taking place Wednesday night, and it's between the Celtics and the Heat. A long-time rivalry between these two teams. You remember back to the days when, it'd be Larry Bird going up against whoever was on the Heat, to Ray Allen going up against whoever was on the Heat, to LeBron James going up against whoever was on the Celtics. So Celtics Heat. I lost my train of thought there for some reason. Celtics, the number 1 team in the NBA right now, 33-10 overall, 13-9 when playing on the road. Whereas Miami Heat, they are 24-19 overall and 12-8 when playing at home. Let's see. Celtics are 76.6% chance favorites to win, according to ESPN Analytics. And I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a good game. Both these teams coming off a loss. But, the Celtics losing a close one, possibly the game of the year against the Denver Nuggets, what could possibly be the NBA Finals, when it's all said and done. And then the Miami Heat coming off 2 straight losses, a really close one to the Hawks, and then a 24-point loss at the Raptors. So give me the give me the Celtics. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to go against this team. You know, they're just so good. That trade really paid off for them. Able to get Drew Holiday. You know, and Jason Tatum is just playing out of his mind. So give me the Celtics to win this game.
It's the
I'm
parade
gonna
of Summer
say
City, yeah. Bro.
I'm gonna say let's see. I'm gonna say 121 to 113. Give me the Celtics. Reese, who you got?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the goofy Celtics. I think the goofy Celtics will beat the goofy Mavericks, especially after Luka's haircut. You know, looks a little offset.
You mean the Heat?
What?
The
Oh,
Celtics playing the Heat?
yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Wrong game, buddy. Yeah, Celtics and Heat. You know, the Celtics, honestly, in my opinion, I think they'll probably win the whole thing. Like literally, I think they'll win the whole thing. This
Put that on God.
Max. I'm gonna shoot you from a very long distance. Actually, I'm gonna send. You know what? I'm gonna call in an airstrike to your house. All right.
All right, buddy. You do that.
All right. Anyway, you know, I think the Celtics are gonna win. But you know, back to what I was saying before Taylor said, "Okay," like Angel Reese. But anyway, you know, Celtics. You know, I think this is a better team than when they played the Warriors in the finals. Honestly, I think this is a way better team. They might honestly, they might only lose like they might not even lose 20 games. There's a chance they could not lose 20 games. But I got the Celtics. I'm gonna say 110 to 90.
You know, the Celtics
I'm gonna
past
wreck
5 games lost to the Nuggets and the Bucks, two of the top teams. They're trying to, get that key win to keep their season going about mid-season point. And the Heat, not on a hot streak right now. And the first time these two teams played this season, the Celtics won. In Miami, it's going to be a little bit harder with the home crowd. But Jimmy Butler just has not been it this year. I mean, he's not even the leading scorer for the Heat this year with his, emo haircut that he has. But give me the Celtics easily beating the Miami Heat.
And now we'll move to the 76ers at the Nuggets.
Also, before we move on, Udonis Haslem is the most goofy jersey retirement of all time.
Bro rode the bench to the jersey retirement. That's insane.
Bro, I wish I could ride the bench to the rafters.
Exactly. But anyways, yeah, nobody rides LeBron more than Udonis Haslem did. But anyways, we're gonna go to the 76ers at the Nuggets.
Max, you brought Zion, so it's okay.
Yeah, I do. But we got the 76ers at the Nuggets this upcoming Saturday, 4:30 on ABC. This is going to be a great game. The 76ers 28-13 overall versus the Denver Nuggets 30-14 overall. The Nuggets are favored in this game 60.9% according to ESPN Analytics. But the 76ers and the process himself, Joel Embiid, who's averaging 35 points right now. 35 points and 11.4
Don't forget about Mo Bamba.
rebounds. Yeah, Mo Bamba right now is listed as questionable for this game, so he might not be that big impact player. He is, but the 76ers. Give me them. They played the Nuggets earlier this year and won at home, 126 to 121. That was a great game. This is also going to be a great game. But give me Joel Embiid and the 76ers to win this game. I'm going to say 132 to 127. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Nuggets. I usually don't pick the Nuggets. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Nuggets. I'm gonna say they win. I'm gonna say honestly 120 to like 103.
Jeez. Okay. Taylor?
I'm going to have to agree with Reese. The Nuggets are way too good. And I want to highlight for the 76ers, Robert Covington and DeAnthony Melton, two key players for their team, are out. So those are some big losses. The Nuggets fully healthy, so give me the Nuggets winning this game pretty easily.
Well, now we'll move to the NFC or the AFC championship this upcoming Saturday. I know this upcoming Sunday, excuse me. I know who we all want to win the game, but who do we actually think is going to win the game? That's the difference. The Chiefs come into this game at 11-6 overall, 6-2 when playing away. The Ravens come into this game at 13-4 overall, 6-3 when playing at home. The Ravens are -3 favorites coming into this game, and the Ravens are 63.6% chance to win this game according to ESPN Analytics. This this game is we all know who we
Oh, you
want
had
to
a
win.
little chuckle out.
Like like we said, we all know who we want to win, and that's the Ravens. The Taylor Swift, she's had a run, but it ends here. Lamar Jackson, he's going to be he's going to play like the MVP this upcoming Sunday. The leading passer and the leading rusher. He's not a game manager for the Baltimore Ravens. He is the best quarterback in the entire NFL, the National Football League. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. Let's go. Fly high, whatever your saying is. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I'm going to say 27-21. Give me the Ravens. Let's go, baby.
All right. I'm still depressed about the freaking Bills game. Like, I actually hate Patrick Mahomes. I hope him and his family suffer a terrible car accident on the way back to Kansas City. And just, I hope nobody gets hurt, but I hope they all just end up in the hospital for a week.
Yeah, that last part.
Yeah, I hope Baltimore just beats the crap out of them. I hope Lamar Jackson throws up, a bunch of gang signs at Patrick Mahomes and just absolutely.
What the heck, bro? It's gonna get us canceled.
I'm gonna have to disagree with both of y'all because Patrick Mahomes.
He hasn't even said his pick.
And then he's gonna absolutely dab on him, and I hope he kicks him into the locker and beats the crap out of him. And Patrick Mahomes just bleeds out and dies on the Baltimore Ravens field. And I'm gonna pick the Ravens. The Ravens are gonna win by 50. It's gonna be 50-0 Baltimore. Patrick Mahomes, you can shut up, buddy. You're not good.
Bro, I don't even know what that sound was, bro. All right. The Chiefs are going to win. I hate to say it, but they're going to win. And Patrick Mahomes to the Super Bowl be like.
All right, well, now we'll move into our last pick of the day, and it's the NFC Championship. What should actually be a really good game. The Lions coming in at 12-5 overall, 6-3 when playing away. The 49ers at 12-5 overall and 5-3 at home. The 49ers are -7-point favorites coming into this game. Vegas really thinks they're going to win this game, huh?
They got to make that. They got to make that a little bit closer. That's
yeah,
got to be
that's got to be
3.
That's got to become, I think, a little bit closer. One thing to watch coming into this game, though, is Deebo Samuel. Suffering that injury early on in that game against the Packers, and then getting into street clothes immediately after. We'll see if he's back for this game. Right now, he's listed as questionable. But and then the Lions, they don't have many big injuries coming into this one. They should be at full strength. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not one to believe in conspiracy theories, but I think it's last 2 or 3 seasons, the Super Bowl logo or whatever, they make it before the season happens, the color and everything.
Bruh, don't do it.
The color scheme has matched the two teams in the championship. Last year with Kansas City and the Eagles, the logo is green and red. The year before, with the Bengals and the Rams, the logo was orange and yellow. This year, it's purple and red. So give me the 49ers and Brock Ride Trent Williams all the way home. Ride CMC all the way home. Brandon Ayuk getting carried by them. Give me the 49ers to win this game at home. And I'm going to say this is a high-scoring affair. I'm going to say 38-31. 49ers win it. Let's go. Brock Purdy. Reese, who do you have?
You know, I'm going to disagree with you, Max.
Okay.
I think the Lions are going to win because, why not? It's Eminem. Snap back to reality. But yeah, I think the Lions are going to win. Their defense, this is going to be a defensive game, honestly. Like, it's probably going to be a very low-scoring game. But, Brock Purdy's a game manager, like Cam Newton said. And, yeah, I think the Lions win this one. I'm going to say 13-9. I'm going to say the 49ers get 3 field goals.
Bro, what? Okay.
Brock Purdy's not...
I'm going to have to agree with my boy Reese Kinder on this one.
Taylor just moaned, bro.
I don't believe in Brock Purdy. Looking at the stats, honestly, Jared Goff has better stats.
Yeah.
So give me the Lions. Lions fans are going to travel all the way to San Francisco, Levi Stadium. Greg Olson, the worst color commentator, is going to be announcing it. But besides that, it's going to be a good one to watch. Give me the Lions winning by a game-winning field goal by their kicker, Riley. I think it's Riley Patterson.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the Tigers Den podcast. Another great show. We hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to, listen to all the podcasts, listen to Play Callers. We have a great episode coming out tomorrow with Coach Bill Ferguson, none other than the women's and men's varsity coach for the high school soccer team. But that's going to do it. We hope y'all enjoyed. And with that,
Maximum Diet TTTTTTTTTT.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, Play Callers, where we interview a coach from Auburn High School football. Be sure to check out those episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central on all platforms.